Hey everyone, so today we're going to be looking at a song called Maathe, which was done in collaboration with the extremely talented vocalist Harisankar and my good friend, bandmate and violinist Shravan Sridhar. So if you haven't heard the song, here's a little snippet for you.
Harisankari Chamundeshwari Chandrakala-dharitaye Gauri Dhada Nidada 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 Nipamadhada.
So the way the collaboration started is basically we had a WhatsApp group with Hari, Shravan and myself. The first thing that Hari did was he went to the studio and he recorded vocals and he sent it. And the moment we received it and the moment we heard it, it was just beautiful. I'm just going to play a little bit of the dry vocal that we received.
Maathe malaya dhwaja pandya sanjate.
So he sang the entire thing and sent it across, and it was amazing and beautiful. And it's such a melodic composition. There's so much melody and feel. And what I thought was, okay, what if we have an edgy arrangement, which is a little out there and little, what's the word for it?
A few moments later.
A little saturated and distorted in a way that it complements the melody of the song. That was like a challenge that I took upon myself. I wasn't really sure how it would go, but I knew that I had to have sections which were sparse and sections which were busy. So basically, I kind of kept the arrangement very dynamic, and the arrangement actually changes in different parts of the song. So if I just mute the vocals, actually, the intro is very sparse. And when he starts the song, it's just very simple and minimal. And then it goes into the edgy section. And then you have different sections. You have a halftime section. And so I wanted to keep the arrangement extremely dynamic. So also what this does is it keeps the listener engaged and it keeps the song very engaging. Oh, this is something new. Let's listen more. The way I arranged it is it's kind of the same elements that are playing, but what they play kind of defines the whole soundscape of what is happening at that time. So one very interesting part of the song is the transition into the edgy section. This is what it sounds like. So what I did was, so the entire phrase, just his vocals, it's just that note. So what I did was I just took that much. I put it into a sampler. So a sampler is a device that kind of, you take a little bit of audio and you put it into that, and then you can play notes with it. So this is that piece of audio that I chopped out. Now what the sampler allows me to do is, this track right here is the sampler. Yeah. So now in combination, what I did was I repeated that sample. So it sounds like a stutter. And then I went absolutely crazy. So that felt very interesting. Now, if you were to hear it in the context of the song, so in order to highlight that particular section, what I did was I cut out everything. There are no drums, there's no bass, just to highlight this particular effect right there. Now, let's get into the different parts of the arrangement. So I have my drums are all from this Isotope plugin called Beat tweaker. And so basically you kind of, the way this works is, I think you create a pattern here and it triggers different samples accordingly. Of course, I mix them out into separate stems and mix all of that later. So by themselves, the drums are very simple. So I have a few layers that I use. So there's actually a clap here and there just to accentuate the snare. So there's a clap there. You can hear that. So in context, so the drums by themselves are actually very simple. Kick, snare, hi-hat, good samples. So it sounds full on its own. So the way the arrangement goes is there is a straight beat. And during that swaram section, I kind of take it half time. And then when it builds up later, it's double time. So the arrangement goes regular time, half time, double time, and then it just drops. And one exciting part is the end where there's a lot of syncopation happening. So in this section, there's a lot of syncopation happening. If I play just the vocals. For this section, what I wanted everything to syncopate along with vocals, because why not? In a traditional ensemble, the mridangam, ghatam, all of the percussion instruments, they actually follow the vocals and they follow the composition. And being very South Indian, I wanted to do that with electronic drums also. I did a lot of syncopation. So whatever the melodic phrase is, it's actually being represented by drums also. So from here. So that syncopation actually, since if I'm layering it with the loop needs to actually follow that syncopation too, right? Otherwise, it just sounds out of sync. So now the loop also had to be chopped a lot. So that's my drums. They play only for half the duration of the whole piece, but they're very powerful and they do a specific job. It's regular time, half time, and double time, basically to represent the different parts of the composition. So the way the composition goes is, it's basically Pallavi, then you have the Swaram section. Pallavi is the main line, basically. Then you have a Swaram section, which goes in two speeds. We have a half time and we have a normal time. The half time is, and then you have the double time. So, which is why since the form of the song is like this, which is why I have regular, half time, double time. So, I didn't go back to regular time because I wanted to highlight the change. So basically it's changing 4 times. So I wanted the sections that don't have drums to be very ambient. So there's a lot of delays and reverbs, and also the instruments that play there are very soft. The yellow colored things that you see, they're all keyboard parts, they're all pads, and they're all so for the intro I have just one pad. Very simple. It's just a patch from a synthesizer. Now for the first section, it's pretty dry. So if you see, I have on my markers, I don't know if you're able to tell, I have dry, wet, dry, wet, dry, wet. So different parts of the song are there. Dry means like there is no space. Wet means there's a lot of space. So over here, the arrangement is pretty simple, so that it's everything. When the vocals enter, they're like in your face. So this is how it goes. There's actually just 2 layers there. And when the line repeats, the pads and the guitars come in. So the guitar is actually MIDI. I just played it on the keyboard. So this is very much in contrast with that tick, 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 tick part that goes, it's like a pulse. And along with the strings, and this other pad that I have, it kind of creates a very cool, it's spacious but not so spacious vibe. This section here, it's like wet. That section is dry. And the vocals are also automated like that. So if you see, so the dry sections have a lot less delay. And the wet sections have a little more, gets a little more. And then, so if you hear just the vocals,
Matangavadana guha shadodari shangari.
So the reason why I cut out the delay is basically, a delay is basically when the sound repeats and repeats like it's like an echo. So if you hear, the arrangement also changes. So now, okay, now that's a very drastic change in and that's on purpose, because, and I also changed kind of, it's very spacious, and then you put the entire thing in a small room. So that's the feel that I wanted to get. But this is the reason I work with audio, where Logic has a nice slowdown effect. So if I play just the pads and the keys, so that kind of acts as a immediate transition when the drums come in. So you don't really expect drums when you hear these things. So this is where the edgy part of the arrangement comes. Let's talk about the other things that are part. So the very strong synthesizers that are there. So I have this. So that's like that's just a synthesizer, and basically it's like a synthesizer that's okay. Which one is it? It's Serum. So the sound goes like this. So it keeps doing the filter sweep, and this pattern kind of it highlights that. So and it's basically it's off time with the drum kit. Now the other part is basically the bass, which is very, very heavy. So bass is also off time, and it kind of syncs with that other synthesizer. And I have another lead sound as well. So basically this big lead, the blue thing that you see. Yeah, that's pretty much it actually. These three sounds kind of they are there throughout the song in many different combinations. So if I play the drum and bass section, and if I play the halftime section, so basically, the way I thought of this, same ensemble of instruments, different duties throughout the song. Sometimes you don't need 100 tracks to make your arrangement sound interesting. You can use the same tracks and make each part do different things. Yeah. Good tip for music production, by the way. That's what I did. So you will see the same part performing different duties, same samples, same synthesizers, everything. So it goes from regular time to half time, so to double time. Same 3 samples. Yeah. Of course, there are other things involved to make it sound a little fuller. There are some plucks that I use. It just keeps time basically during the double time section. So if I were to play that, you would not notice it, but now you cannot miss it. Yeah. Now, apart from that, I have some during the halftime section. That's when things get really interesting. So if you were to hear
Harisankar Gauri Dada Nidada 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 Nibama Dada.
That's when the filter of the synthesizer came into use. So I automated it in a way. I used an envelope to make it such a way that it first starts sharp and then it becomes mellow and then becomes sharp again, then opens up like that. And to complement that, I have a layer of arpeggios playing chords. So this is layer number 1. Which is panned to the left, and layer number 2, which is panned to the right. And when they play together, very similar sounds, but just modified a little, pan left and right, just to create like a nice stereo effect, and it's all kind of playing in sync with each other. Why it stops halfway there is because I wanted to highlight the snare that just comes. So there's nothing melodic happening in the second half. That way I kind of makes my job easier on the mixing stage. But apart from that, it kind of gives the impression that there's a lot of space, that it's gone half time and it's obvious. That is why the arrangement is like that. Now, coming to a little more processing on the vocals. So there's a lot of processing that happens, especially during this section. So apart from the main vocals, there's also this, I don't know if I would even consider this a vocal layer, to be honest. There's this. Okay, so if you hear that without the processing, so so what it is basically he sang that phrase. I kind of cut it and I added a little bit of processing and automation and all of that. It's a lot of fine editing. You will hardly ever hear it in the mix. So in the mix, so why do I have something that you cannot hear? Now, there is a reason. So the chords used here. Okay, so if I play the chords that have been used in this section, so in all of those chords, there's one note that is common. which is this note. Ah. So to highlight that note, I wanted something that goes on continuously. And then I also have a vocoder going on. So a vocoder uses your vocal signal and you can play the keyboard and it kind of converts that vocal signal into the chords that you're playing. So now if you hear all of these layers together.
Shadodari Shankari Chamundeshwari Chandra Kaladhari Taye Gauri Dhada Nidada Nidada.
So there's another vocoder when the halftime signal comes. It's just like got a lot more body because it's the halftime section. Now that's with the vocal processing. Now there are a lot of melodic layers that Shravan and I have played. And each of these layers have different processing. So for the alap, it's got all the reverb in the world. So for the initial alap, it kind of sounds like a very distorted, saturated sound coming from far away. And whenever the violin accompanies the vocals, there's a flanger effect on the violin so that it kind of takes the center point away. So it plays mostly from a stereo point of view. So...
Pandya Sanjate Madangavadana Guha.
And whenever the iPad plays, it's on 2 different octaves along with the vocals. So obviously, I follow the dry wet concept here as well. It's all over the mix. And in the end, something very interesting happens. So there are multiple alaps layered on top of each other. So the vocals that I received from Hari, so he sang this alap.
Magari sanidani sanida dapa Maathe.
So the way I work on it is I didn't want to take away from that. So Shravan and I played phrases that kind of complement whatever he's singing and complement the chords that are playing at that particular time. So if I were to play just the chords and our respective parts, you'll notice that we are also voicing out the chords with whatever alapanai that we are playing. So if you were to hear this. So initially I wanted to end the song with a bang, but the way this was going, it's beautiful, the alap, and I wanted to keep it nice and soft. But just because I wanted to end it with a bang, I put a bang in there, right here. So I hope you enjoyed that session, and make sure you listen to the full song. The link is in the description. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know if there's a song that you'd like me to do in the comments.